It was a cold November evening in Chicago, the kind where the wind cuts through every layer of clothing and even the city's brightest lights feel a little dimmer. Emily pulled her jacket tighter as she stepped out of the diner, clutching a small paper bag, leftovers from the dinner she couldn't quite finish. She hadn't eaten much these days, not because she wasn't hungry, but because she was tired. Tired from working double shifts, tired from trying to rebuild her life after losing everything in a house fire 6 months earlier. If you believe true kindness always finds its way back, please tap the like button now and subscribe to support more stories like this. The fire had taken her husband, her home, and every dream she'd built in 12 years of marriage. Now she rented a single room above an old hardware store, and most nights, she'd walk to the park before heading home, not because it was on the way, but because sitting under the quiet hum of streetlights made her feel less invisible. That night, as she crossed toward the park bench, she noticed a man and a little boy standing near a silver SUV. The car's hood was up, and the man was pacing, talking into his phone. The boy, no older than 8, sat on the curb, shivering slightly in the wind. Emily hesitated, then walked over. "Everything okay?" she asked softly. The man, David, looked up, frustration lining his face. "Battery's dead. Waiting for a tow, but it's been almost an hour. My son's freezing." Emily looked at the boy, his small hands tucked under his arms for warmth. Without thinking, she handed over the paper bag. "Here," she said, "it's still warm." The boy blinked, surprised. "It's just some leftover stew. You can share it." David hesitated, pride tugging at him, but his son's eyes said yes before he could. He took the bag and whispered a quiet, "Thank you." Emily smiled faintly, waved it off, and walked away into the cold. The next morning, David couldn't stop thinking about that moment. The woman's tired eyes, her soft voice, the way she'd given away what might have been her own dinner without hesitation. He wanted to thank her properly, but she had vanished before he even got her name. Days passed. Life went on. But kindness, real kindness, has a strange way of circling back. 2 weeks later, David was sitting in his office at the community housing department. He was reviewing applications for emergency assistance when one file caught his eye, Emily Parker. The name tugged at something familiar. The application described a woman who had lost her husband and home in a fire, working nights at a diner while trying to get stable housing. Attached was a photo, her face lit faintly by hope and exhaustion. His heart skipped. It was her. The woman from the parking lot, the one who had given away her only meal. He sat back in his chair, staring at the file. Technically, he couldn't alter the waiting list process. But something deep inside him whispered that this was the moment that mattered. He checked the available units again. A small one-bedroom apartment had just opened up on Maple Street. It wasn't much, but it was safe, warm, and exactly what she needed. He made a few calls, verified her documentation, and quietly moved her application to the top. 3 days later, Emily stood in disbelief as she was handed the keys. The social worker who delivered the news mentioned that her case had been expedited under special review. Emily didn't know why or how, she only knew that, for the first time in months, she had a place to call home again. On moving day, she stood outside the apartment building, her old coat pulled tight around her. A familiar SUV pulled up to the curb. David stepped out, holding his son's hand. The boy's face lit up when he saw her. "Daddy, it's her," he shouted, running forward. "It's the lady who gave me her food." Emily froze, recognition dawning like sunlight breaking through clouds. David smiled, a little shy, a little emotional. "I guess I owe you more than a thank you," he said softly. "You gave us warmth when you had nothing to spare. The least I could do was return it." Tears filled her eyes, and for a moment, none of them spoke. The world felt still, no city noise, no cold wind, just the quiet heartbeat of Grace returning home. That night, Emily sat by her new window, watching snow begin to fall over the streetlights. She thought about how one small act, a simple bag of leftovers, had come back as a miracle. In a world that often feels too busy, too hard, it reminded her that compassion still matters. We'd love to hear your story. What is the most memorable act of unexpected kindness you have witnessed or received? Share it in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who believes in the power of kindness. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because sometimes, one act of love can change everything.